Hey guys, let's talk. I want to talk to you guys about how I've been feeling lately. It's been building up to just more and more. It's been really building up to feeling like I can't not do something more extreme about it now. If you've watched my Mental Monday videos, you know I've talked a lot about experiencing burnout, about anxiety, about trying to balance everything, and kind of constantly feeling like the answer is paring things down. We decluttered the house like crazy. Decluttered so many things out of our home, and I thought that would help. And it did. It did a lot. But I think I'm learning I'm not done decluttering my life. And what I mean by that is also decluttering my time. So right now, I have put myself in a position through all of my interests that I have, because I have a ton of different interests. I have a ton of different little side rabbit holes that I get myself down that I distract myself with. I'm really interested in so many different things. And there are so many different things I could see myself pursuing, I could see myself working on, that I could see as a part of my life. And it's too much. I need to find my focus. I need to find the things that I want to narrow in on. And I need to find what I truly want to pursue and run with. I have been working on keeping so many things up in the air and keeping so many different things in my focus, because I have all of these different interests that I'm having fun pursuing, that I'm stopping myself short of getting anywhere with them. I have a habit of trying new things, whether I have time for those new things or not. And I, personally, have been trying to get out of that habit. But I need to do some decluttering first. I have found so many different ideas that I would love to run with. I am a very creative person in that way, and I'm a dreamer, so nothing seems impossible to me. Because if you really put hard work behind something, anything is possible as long as you are willing to put in the work. That I fight is I have a million ideas in my head, and I have so many dreams and so many things I could pursue, so many interests that I could see building up into something, and I am not good at saying no. I'm not good at sorting through what I should pursue and what I shouldn't, and making really intentional decisions with that. So I end up with all of these million ideas I'm running towards and no way of actually making much progress, because I'm splitting myself between all of them and spreading me and my resources and my time and my effort and creativity so thin that they each only get about that far instead of making major progress in one area and having a better, slightly more narrow focus on what direction I'm actually going. So here's my plan. I have written down and made a little chart with all of my ideas that I have that I could run with. And I tried to organize them. Say that because, I mean, that's kind of what it looks like. So as far as what's on this chart, it's things like my YouTube channel, it's things like foster care, it's things like my day job, it's things like building a Young Living essential oil business, different social media things that I have set up to share on, and also some ideas that I don't fully want to share yet, because if they happen, I don't want to give it away. But I kind of just sorted through all of them, and I went down the list, and I kind of had to just instinctively, my first reaction, decide, does this make sense for right now? And is this something I could see being long term, or does it just sound fun and interesting right now? Like, is that still a viable idea for right now? Is that still something, at least at the moment, I really want to focus on? Because I feel like that's the biggest thing. What should I focus on right now? And what do I want to focus on right now? I went through, and some things I just put an X next to, and I'm like, that's just gonna stop, right? Like, I'm just gonna completely set that aside. And there are other things that I drew a line out from, like foster care, obviously. And I did that next to the things that I really do want to be spending my time on right now, that I really want to focus on, that I need to, at least the moment, commit to and make space for and have at the top of my priorities. And then there were a few things that I put a pause on that were, like, I literally drew 2 lines and a circle, like a pause button. I put those next to things that I would still love at some point to pursue, but just now is not the time. So kind of putting those on the back burner a little less so than some of the other things. Like, if an opportunity pops up or all of a sudden I decide it's the right time, then great, I have it right there to grab and run with. But just, that's not going to be where I'm putting a ton of my effort. And then there were other things that I drew a line from to one of my other things. For example, my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is something that is kind of the major priority for me. It's kind of where I have really, really enjoyed spending my time sharing and creating and just having so much fun with it. And I think some of my other interests fall really nicely into being able to just shift those onto that category instead of spreading the attention, if that makes sense. So that was my first step. Literally listing absolutely everything, and really quickly, just off the top of my head, thinking, is this for right now or not? And then I think I kind of did a second wave of going back through and then being like, is there anything that maybe I put a pause or an X next to that I want to bring under something else? And kind of make that decision of, well, I could try to incorporate a little bit of that into this, but this is my main focus and my main category. So the second step was making a plan for that focus, for each focus and my main one. So things like foster care, right? We're just in a waiting period, but we do have some goals we want to reach within that. And so that's going to be a really short little list of what we want to work on and focus on in that. But that would be one that would be kind of simple and not as complicated. And then looking at my YouTube channel, deciding how to move forward, deciding what I even feel like my YouTube channel looks like, deciding kind of a plan for things for my channel, and setting a little groundwork to move forward with. And I think for that's probably the most in-depth thing because I have to really, really decide what kind of content I want to share, what I want that to look like, and if there's any shifts I want to make, things like that. So that's how I'm trying to approach it, and I'm trying to really also work on like some of those things that I dragged over. Do I incorporate all of this together? Does all of that work together? And if so, how? And kind of creating a plan for that as well. I know this sounds really, really detailed, but for me to be able to really hone my focus again, I kind of need to organize it in my head like that so that I know what direction I'm running. So when I have an idea or I see another video that I'm like, oh, that's really cool, or I have an interest pop up that I enjoy, but I'm not really like trying to run with it for anything. It's just interesting, and maybe, you know, it's a little time of learning it or spending time with that hobby or interest, but it's not something that I'm going to take a ton of time on. I can then use my focus to really sort through, does this fit in or not? Is this something I would want to spend any time on within these things or not? And I know what my goal is. I know what my expectations are. And I can kind of make it that much easier on myself to say no to things, say no to interests, say no to ideas that just are not within my focus, that just are not what I'm wanting to do. Now, I want to say that does not mean there may not be the random time that I do spend a lot of time and attention on something that's maybe not fully easily within it. And I think that's okay, because I do want to always leave space for I can share what I want to share, I can share what I'm interested in, and that's okay. So leaving space for that too. This probably all seems really, really complicated, but in my head it makes sense. And the last step of this for me was in trying to declutter my time, also trying to be a little better with time management and put some things in place that help delegate a little bit to the best of my ability, that make some things more automated. And I actually have a document in my Google Docs app on my phone called Life. And in it are all of the links to websites, to do different food subscriptions and delivery through, different Amazon product subscriptions for the pet stuff. Like you can actually have an Amazon subscription for dog food, cat food, so many of those things that they will just automatically send you it and you don't even have to think about it. And honestly, having so much delivered to us instead of me having to drive into town, because we are significantly outside of town, give me so much of my time back and make things so much smoother and easier, and also give me the ability to have some things automated and not have to worry about having to remember it, having to manage it and track it and think about it as much. And that's another huge part of the shift, is focusing my time in that way. So I thought that was a little helpful thing I'd add on to the end. So as far as finding my focus, I feel like just in making my list the way I did and really honing in on what I wanted to do, just thinking it through in that way, getting it down on paper, really strategically and intentionally making decisions and thinking things through a little bit, it's already made such a difference in my mindset. And I feel like it was really helpful. I feel like it was what I needed. I was honestly having a bit of a crisis, not really knowing what I was doing and not knowing how to move forward, feeling kind of stuck, and I think this helped. So if you have been feeling that way, where you kind of need to find your focus again, you maybe need to reevaluate your focus and just re-hone yourself like that, I feel like this could be useful. And if you are not sure what you are wanting, or you have just way too many ideas to juggle, do this exercise. I encourage you to try this and try making that list and seeing where that takes you. And I hope it's helpful. So thank you guys again for joining me. If you are new here, I talk about mental health, I talk about Turner syndrome, daily life. If you would like to join our journey, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. Give this video a thumbs up. I will also, right here, put a couple playlists for you. I have one on anxiety and one on burnout that I mentioned I had done videos on earlier. So go ahead and check those out. I will see you guys in the next video.